What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy KT. Peace and love to you guys, man. Today got a little interesting video I think is super important to make note of, particularly in the digital marketing space, right? What I believe is the key to putting out content consistently is going back to what a social media marketing agency is, right? It's like we specialize in helping influencers, business owners, whatever it is, establish a stronger presence online. With that being said, I think it's super important. Those are the services that we're selling. We should also demonstrate them ourselves. The key to putting out content consistently, at least based on my own experiences thus far, is to really not allow emotion to have an impact on how often you're putting out content, right? Because you might wake up one day and you might feel like your vibe just isn't where you would want it to be pertaining to how you want to come off to your viewers on camera. Doesn't matter. You have to be able to train yourself to commit to whatever it is that you planned the day before, the week before, whatever it was, regardless of how you're feeling. I do believe that that is a big reason and a big hurdle for a lot of creators that prevents them from putting out content as consistently as they would want to. Sometimes, bro, like I'll wake up and nothing is wrong. There's nothing wrong. You know, we all have those days where your energy just isn't as high as maybe it was the day before. And then, you know, you reflect on that. You say to yourself, well, you know, my energy isn't where I would want it to be today. Because of that, I just won't film today and I'll put it off. Like, nah, bro, like no reason that you should be making those type of excuses. If anything, you should be using that moment where your vibe isn't where you would want it to be as an opportunity to train yourself to be okay with discomfort as far as, you know, being on camera when you may not feel like you would want to be that day. Because I feel like that goes a long way, and then that allows us to establish these type of routines and habits going forward, again, regardless of how you feel. Another thing too, so my next point, when I first started shooting content, I was often doing it in like, I would need multiple takes. I think like the first video I shot twice, right? Which is obviously like way more time consuming than I would want it to be, because I'm now spending more time creating content than I need to. And then it's now delaying not only my content creation process, but also everything else that I got going on in the business. So training yourself to be able to shoot in one take and be totally content with whatever you got in that one take. And then using that as a learning experience going forward, instead of just like, oh, I could have done this better. I could have said it better like this. No, bro, take those lessons and apply them into the next video. Simple. Don't overthink it. Like just speak to the camera as if it were a person. So now like I've really gotten into the flow of being able to do that. Now when I'm speaking to the camera, like I always remember, it's like, yo, I'm sharing this information. I'm speaking to someone. It's not this piece of technology that I'm so aware of that I'm speaking to. It's like, no, I'm using this piece of technology as a middleman to communicate any form of ideas or value to someone on the other side. Again, just changing your perception of what the camera is makes it that much less daunting and so much easier to film like going forward. Another key point to being able to put out content consistently, utilize AI, utilize ChatGPT. It's so simple. Like it's actually never been more simple. The only barrier between you and putting out content consistently, I guarantee, is your inability to overcome the vibe that you're feeling on that current day, just as I was alluding to earlier on in the video. Utilize AI. There are so many ways to not only come up with content ideas that are so specific to you and your channel, but also scripts. You can literally go on ChatGPT right now, talk to it as if it were a person, and it's gonna spit out endless ideas that you can now utilize in your videos, right? But of course, like you take the ideas with a grain of salt, right? Like you don't just mimic them and just copy down those titles word for word. It gives you a baseline that you can now work off of. If we can minimize the amount of time having to come up with ideas and scripts for our pieces of content, it's gonna make it that much more seamless and that much more efficient when we actually are ready to be on front of the camera and just record and go. It's insane, man. Just think about like 10 years ago, content creators did not have this advantage. Make yourself fully aware of how fortunate we really are at this current state of the digital era and how much more easy it has now become for us. If you can make yourself like fully aware of that, it's gonna make creating content consistently that much easier, because you now understand that I'm able to move at such an efficient rate that wasn't accessible before, simply because of all the tools that are now available to me. Once you really incorporate that into your perspective, you're flowing, my dude. Stop making excuses. There are so many resources out there today that can really contribute to you being a full-time content creator, but you just really have to take advantage of them and not take them for granted. Another key to being able to put out content consistently is not getting so caught up in the views. Again, another thing that discourages so many creators or potential creators, right, is,
okay, I'm gonna be putting in all this time, all this energy into creating content, but if no one's watching it, why should I continue to put forth my energy and time into making content if I'm not seeing instant results?
That's what y'all need to understand, man. This is This is a long-term game. Only the strong survive out here, bro. The algorithm will favor those who are able to continue to put out content consistently regardless of the results in the beginning stages, right? So stop getting so caught up in instant gratification and instant results, because if you actually put together a strategic game plan as to why you're actually putting out content to begin with, you'll have a much more rounded perspective as to why you're doing it and the long-term benefits that will come from it. Again, just going back to the industry that I'm in particular, and I do assume that most of my viewers are in a similar space. Digital marketing. Everyone needs digital marketing. Everybody. Literally everybody. Whether they know it or not. You might have some businesses that are well established online, and of course they're well aware of the benefits and the power of digital marketing, hence why they're a digital business. And then you have other businesses that don't utilize it as much, simply because maybe they come from a different time. They find it a little daunting. It's intimidating for them because they didn't grow up with it. They didn't utilize it. Regardless though, if they want to scale their business, they need to take advantage of digital marketing. Point blank period. It's simple. But for us as social media marketers, this is the most optimal way to overcome the trust barrier, right? If we're showcasing who we are, what it is that we do, we are now able to pass a lot of vibe checks in the eyes of potential prospects, right? It's one thing to have the skills that are needed for a lot of business owners, influencers, whoever it is that you're marketing your services to, but to be a poised individual who's putting out content regularly and is demonstrating the services that he or she is selling makes it that much more likely that they want to work with you, because they can now see, how you operate, how you speak, how you think, how you carry yourself, etc. So there are so many other things to factor in when you think about the power of content creation and what it can do for you long term. Having a personal brand will only add fuel to your business, because you are the supporter of the business. You are the creator of the business. So being able to associate a face with the business just makes it that much more trusting in the eyes of potential clients. So it's always something to consider, man. You need to utilize all the resources that are now made available to us, and to make excuses as to why you're not putting out content consistently, you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that. Seek the discomfort, seek the things that are difficult for you and make them comfortable. I know earlier on for me, like when I first got in front of the camera, it was of course a little foreign, but that's normal. Once you overcome the initial stages of that foreign feeling, it just becomes that much easier, that much more simple. You're on autopilot from there. Just to give you guys some context, like for me personally, bro, I shoot minimum once per week. I plan out my weeks typically on Sundays. I choose the day that I'm gonna be shooting, not the day of, but on Sunday at the beginning of the week. Again, regardless of how I feel that day, I'm filming, because that is the plan that I had set out for the week. Once you acquire that skill to be able to commit to your plans, it's simple. It really is very simple, and there's no need for you to overcomplicate it, and you'll figure that out once you get it going. I hope this video was helpful, man. Putting out content consistently should be something that we're all doing, specifically digital marketers. Like, we all need to be doing it, man, because it's just the icing on the cake pertaining to our services. It just makes it that much more appealing, that much more sexy, you know what I'm saying? That's just the reality though, man. Like, people want to find long-term partnerships, long-term relationships, but they don't know where to go, who to trust. And by putting out content consistently, you are putting yourself ahead of so many other marketers. Like, it's not even funny. Hope you found some value out of this video, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Always love chopping it up with y'all. Y'all know how it goes. And if you've yet to put out a video yourself, highly encourage you just to shoot it, man. Just don't worry about all the other things, the editing and the views, and no. Have an idea put in place, get in front of the camera and film. It's simple, bro. I will be seeing you guys in the next video, man. Peace and love to you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit y'all in the next one, man. It's KT.